Finally, yes, Brandon Crawford is back in MLB The Show. All right, so I saw on Twitter today that new content was being dropped. We have the May Player of the Month cards. Featured in this program, we've got Brandon Crawford, HECTOR, NERIS, DIETRICH, Alex Wood, and none other than Carlos Correa. I gotta be honest, I've been pretty critical with Player of the Month cards in years past, but I think they're going in a good direction this year. I'm excited to see where they move on with these cards. If you guys don't already know, I do stream on Twitch, so if you could go shoot me a follow at twitch.tv/Bergen, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys are interested in this video, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I would love to hear if you guys agree or disagree with me on my takes about these cards. All right, but enough of that. Let's go check out these new Player of the Month cards. All right, so to start off this program, we've got none other than Brandon Crawford. If you guys haven't followed me on Twitch already, and some of you might not know, I absolutely love Brandon Crawford's swing. He's a lefty, he plays second base, he plays third base. He's got 101 contact against righties, 102 contact against lefties, 50 power versus righties, 65 power against lefties, 73 vision. For his fielding, he's got 95 fielding, 91 arm strength, 86 arm accuracy, and 83 reaction. This is a very solid defensive card. If you do not have a stacked team, he should definitely be in the middle infield. His swing is just that good, I promise. And then he's got 40 speed, 18 stealing, 38 base aggressiveness. Nothing to really, run home about, other than his fielding. But let me tell you guys, this card, I cannot stress this enough. His swing makes up for his attributes, I promise you. Now, if you guys are still unsure about this card, let me tell you, quirks can be the difference maker on whether you want to use the card or not. Brandon Crawford does have hitting machine. He's also got pressure cooker, so he's going to be able to get you those clutch base hits in crucial situations. To be honest, I'm not really a fan of defensive quirks. I really don't notice much with sniper, soft hands, or cannon unless they're in the outfield. But Brandon Crawford's still going to be a great defensive player on your middle infield no matter where he plays. Now, who do I believe this card would be good for? I think this Brandon Crawford card could actually be good for a majority of players. I don't really see him being played that often in Diamond Dynasty or really even BR. But if there's tournaments that are going on in the community, or you see ESL throwing another tournament where they have pretty intricate restrictions on your roster, Brandon Crawford could be a sneaky diamond to throw in there. Now, how easy is it to get this card? Pretty much STS has decided that instead of, having giant paywalls to get these Player of the Month cards, what you can do now is just grind the program. They made it free. I know all of our no money spent viewers are going to be extremely happy about this. These Player of the Month cards, they're solid for being free cards. Nobody can complain about that. You only have to do a few moments or missions, and it's really not that hard of a card to get. Now, if I'm going to grade this card from an A+ to an F-, typically I would give a card like this a C+, but just because of his swing and his stance alone, I'm going to give this Brandon Crawford a B-. He's not going to do a lot for you offensively, but he's going to make contact and he's going to get you those clutch base hits. Now, would this card make my team? Personally, no, but I do have a pretty stacked squad. Could I involve him in a theme team? Of course. Overall, if you guys are looking to build your squad or your no money spent, feel free to check this card out and give it a try. And now we're going to be moving on to HECTOR NERIS, the closing pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. This pitcher has a splitter, a 4-seamer, and a 2-seamer. And I got to be honest with you guys, that's kind of my problem with this card. He does have 25 stamina, 103 hits per 9, 102 K per 9, 62 walk per 9, 82 home run per 9, 75 control, 87 velo, 99 break. That 99 break could be really solid, actually. Now, his quirks, on the other hand, he's got pressure cooker, he's got stingy, untouchable, Mr. Splitty, and grounded. In my opinion, I think this is a garbage time pitcher. I really don't value this card much whatsoever. Maybe if you're trying to make an all-time team for the Phillies, he might be a decent card. All in all, I'm really not going to use this card in ranked seasons. I don't think it's that good of a card to begin with. Who do I think this card would be good for? What kind of player? To be honest with you, like I said, I think he's a garbage time pitcher. I really don't see him being clutch for you. Maybe because of his break and, having a nasty splitter, he could be solid for you in BR. But I really don't think anyone wants to waste a diamond slot on an 87 overall closing pitcher that really doesn't have that great of a repertoire. Just like Brandon Crawford, this card's pretty easy to get. You just have to move on in the May Player of the Month program. He's really not a hard card to get. If I'm going to give this card a grade, I think I'm going to give it a C-, maybe even a D+. I really don't see this card being useful for many teams at all. I see him giving up a lot of home runs, and I see really good hitters being able to just tee off on this guy. The only upside for him is that he would be possibly solid in BR. Would this card make my team? I got to be honest with you guys. I got to keep it a buck. He definitely would not make my team. There are silver and gold pitchers, and even that bronze Zach Britton I would rather use than this HECTOR NERIS. It's not me being harsh against the card. It's just not that good of a card in my opinion. And next we have DIETRICH, a card who is very interesting because that 120 power sticks out like a sore thumb. So some of you guys know Derek Dietrich, he could play all across the infield except shortstop, and he can play the corner outfield spots. This card looks really solid. He's got 87 contact against righties, 77 against lefties, 120 power against righties. That's insane. 62 power against lefties, 60 vision, 67 discipline, 96 clutch. His fielding is a 66, 73 arm strength, 75 arm accuracy, and then a 72 reaction with not so much speed, going at 47 speed and 10 stealing. And as for his quirks, he does have hitting machine, pressure cooker, and unbreakable. I don't think these are really, I wish he had bomber. For that much power that he's got, I would love for him to have bomber, because then against lefties he might be viable still. All in all, I think because of the vision, this card might be good for higher tier players. But even if you're on all-star or veteran, I could see you being okay using this card strictly because of how big the PCI is at that difficulty. You might not have that rough of a time using him. On legend, however, with the 60 vision, he may not be as optimal, so you have to keep that in mind if you do plan on using him in like a platoon spot, which I do think he would benefit most in. I can't really see him being a full-time player, even though he is pretty versatile. I still would probably use him as a platoon, possibly as just a righty killer off the bench. Not a full-time player for me. And again, you get this card by furthering the Player of the Month May program, so get on that if you haven't already. If I'm going to give this card a grade, I think I'm going to give it a B, just a flat B, solely because of the power. He'd be a great bench bat. Like I said, you can platoon this card. The fielding's kind of mid. You've got solid versatility with where he could play, but all in all, I think this is going to be more of a card that is used in Battle Royale and not really ranked seasons so much. Would this card make my team? Probably not. I do have, like I said before, I have a stack squad. I'm really not looking to have a card like this with such low vision if I do plan on playing on Hall of Fame and even Legend. It's just not going to work out too well for me compared to the other cards that I have available. Alright, now this card I am really excited for. We have a 90 overall starting pitcher, Alex Wood. He throws a sinker, a changeup, a knuckle curve, and a two-seamer. Even though he may not throw that hard, he still has 84 stamina, 80 hits per 9, 100 K per 9, 75 walks per 9, 80 home run per 9, 76 control, 86 velo, and 80 break. Now these quirks right here, in my opinion, are going to be the difference maker as to whether you're going to be using Alex Wood or not. He has the stingy quirk, he's got illusionist, sinker baller, untouchable, and grounded. This is definitely a pitch to contact type of pitcher. Reminds me a little bit of Nick Lodolo just on paper here. Overall, I don't see you striking out many guys unless you're fooling them. And I think he's just more of a pitch to contact player. Still going to be really solid. I think this card would be good for anyone really, because on lower difficulties, you're kind of pitching to contact anyways with how big your opponent's PCI is. And then on Legend, it's hard enough to square up the ball anyways. So again, Alex Wood could be a viable 4th or 5th option in your rotation. Again, all you have to do is advance in your May Player of the Month program, and you should have easy access to this card. Again, not bad for a free card. If I'm going to give this card a grade, I think I'm going to give it a solid B+. Just strictly because we really don't have a lot of lefty pitchers that are solid out of the rotation. So I think this card could be very viable. It's not going to be nobody's ace, obviously, but I do see him being a good 4, probably 5 in your rotation. Nice back into the rotation kind of guy. Would this card make my team? You know what? After looking at him more and more, I really think I can make this guy my 5th pitcher in my rotation. I've been looking for somebody to replace Kyle Wright, as I haven't been doing too well with him as of late. So I might grind and try to get this card. It might be a solid card to use. And finally, what you guys have all been waiting for, the 95 overall shortstop, Carlos Correa, May Player of the Month from MLB 17. He plays shortstop, he plays second base, he plays third base. He's got 101 contact against righties, 96 against lefties, 99 to 84 power. He's got 77 vision, 96 discipline, 96 clutch. He's got 80 fielding, 97 arm strength, 80 arm accuracy, and 79 reaction. Not a bad infielder. Definitely has a cannon. Not to mention he's got 65 speed, but who pays attention to Carlos Correa for the speed, right? And so this Carlos Correa here has the most impressive quirks by far. He has hitting machine, he has bomber, he has walker, and then he's got pressure cooker on the offensive side. Defensively, he's got cannon and he's got sniper, so he's going to be accurate and he's going to throw hard. This card should be able to hit dingers. My only problem, however, is that the power looks pretty balanced. It's just doesn't feel like enough necessarily. Not to mention that you have 77 vision, but his power just seems a little lackluster compared to what you can have. What do I think this card would be good for? I think this card would be good for most people, to be honest. If you're a top player, it's going to be a solid card to try out. If you're, you know, playing in the lower difficulties, it can still be a solid card for you. I just think that this card doesn't necessarily feel worth grinding for when you have the face of the franchise, Carlos Correa. It's not that I think this is a bad card at all. I just think that for the face of the franchise, Carlos Correa, he's a little bit easier to get, and he's almost as good as this card, to be quite honest with you. But overall, I think a lot of players are going to try this card. I may go and try this card. I'm not quite sure yet. Again, you get this card by completing the May Player of the Month program, so you have to get all the missions for all the other Player of the Month cards, and then the final card you would get in the program would be this Carlos Correa here. If I'm going to grade this card here, I think I'm going to give him a B+. I know that may seem a little controversial considering that, you know, this is the Player of the Month boss. He's supposed to be a better version of the face of the franchise Correa, but that's kind of it. This card is just a little bit of a buffed version of that face of the franchise Correa, and to be quite honest with you, I think I get a lot more production out of my creative player, and I think I can name at least 2 to 3 shortstops that you'd rather have over this Carlos Correa. If you guys disagree with me, please drop your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm very excited to hear what you guys have to say. But overall, would this card make my team? Probably not, because like I said, I have a power cap that has 115 plus power on both sides of the plate. It would be really hard for me to get rid of that card. Alright, so that's going to wrap up episode 2 of On Paper. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on whether you agree with my takes on these cards or whether you greatly disagree. I'm excited again to hear you guys' comments. And if you guys can, please shoot me a follow on Twitch at twitch.tv/Bergen. I'll see you guys for episode 3. Have a good one.
Sit back, I'm cool, I don't give a fuck. I wish you good luck. That summertime love, it comes and it goes. The blink of an eye, the liquor.